Hi guys, welcome to Learning Electronics Repair, and the video is sponsored by PCBway.com. I have some PCBs in this box which I'm going to show you. So this is a follow on from the project we were working on last month. And here we have a PCB designed by one of the channel subscribers. So this is the automated Fake Mosfet Detector, which we're hoping to improve working together. So that's myself and Detlef with the author of this. So we're hoping to improve this and get this into a product which you guys can actually order from PCBway. The PCBs either assembled or just blank like these and build. And this is my modified and hopefully final version of the Fake Mosfet tester which I built. This one I'm actually waiting for parts. I ordered all the parts I don't already have. I'm hoping they're going to be here by next week and we can get onto this one. So today we're going to put this together. So this is very much simplified from the previous version. I will show you in fact the previous version and you'll see why this is going to be much easier and, to be quite honest, cheaper to build. Here is the original version of the Fake Mosfet tester. You can see I had to do some work with this because there was some problem with the connections. These sockets wouldn't fit due to the footprint. I also realized there was a problem with attaching the millivoltmeter here. So when measuring the voltage across the drain source of the MOSFET, I was also measuring the voltage drop across the leads as well, and some of the tracks on here. So I figured out in the last video, which I'll link from this one, when I was actually water cooling the MOSFETs, that I need to connect the multimeter directly to the MOSFET to get a realistic reading, just clipping some leads on direct to the multimeter. So you can see the new version is a lot smaller. This makes these considerably cheaper. We no longer have this big bulky selector switch. Okay. We have two double pole, double throw switches. One of them is a center off. So this will still give us the 3.35 and 10 volt. And also this still has the switch which will give you external. So with external, we disconnect the Zener diodes. Your external device, whatever you attach, connects directly to the gate of the MOSFET, so there are no pull up or pull down resistors on here. You have a direct connection to the gate, and from whatever you drive it with, for example, you can put pulse width modulation in, or just a short pulse and take a reading, or whatever you want to do. So the external option is there, and we see we have connections for P-type and N-type MOSFET. We now still have the two power connectors, which you reverse depending on if you want to test P-type or N-type MOSFETs, but we don't have any sockets for the multimeter that clips directly to the MOSFET. And that's basically it. The only other thing I changed now, I think the switch will actually work the right way around for the 10 amp, but we will see. Okay, I'm going to take the power resistors off this one and put them on this one because I don't have any more of these and I don't have enough of these. So let's get this thing assembled and then let's try it and see if it works as we expect. Okay guys, so this is assembled now. You can see the switches are much more simple. I will add the silk screening on the shared project. I missed it off on this version, but electrically I'm sure this is working just fine. We will just prove this and then test some MOSFETs. So this gives you 3.3 volts in the up position, 5 volts in the down position, and 10 volts in the center. So that's the gate voltage. Okay, this switch is the gate between external and internal. This is the center switch, but that has no relevance, to be quite honest. Okay, I just didn't have any double pole double throw without the center position. They fitted very nicely. I still don't have the right type of terminal box to fit here, so I've taken the ones off the other one and just soldered them underneath. If I had the correct type, which is the 0.1 inch pin spacing, it would have been fine. Okay, again, I'll put the silk screening on, but this one is P-type positive, goes here, and if you want to test N-type positive. So you switch them around. So in this direction with the positive here, this is for P-type testing. and this is for N-type testing. Okay, we can just check to make sure that this is actually all correct. So if I switch the power supply on, it's set to 24 volts. Okay, and we measure between the gate and source with this in the center position. We should see that the gate is 10 volts positive of the source, which it is. In the up position, 3.8. I actually fitted a 3.6 volts Zener by mistake. I'll have to change it. Okay, and 5, close enough. So I just happened to fit the wrong Zener, that's all. 3.6 or 3.8 volts. Okay, if we switch it to the external position, then we should have nothing on the gate because there's nothing plugged into the external. Okay, so this is working the right way. And if we switch these around, P-type positive, and we connect this into here, the order of connection is the same. So gate, drain, source. And with a P-type MOSFET, we need the gate to be negative with respect to the source. So internal, with the switch in the center position, the gate should be 10 volts negative of the source, which it is. Okay, 3.3. Yes, I know I fitted the wrong Zener. Is this one also wrong? 3.5. Looks like the different Zeners I actually fitted. Okay, and 5. Okay, so we can see that the thing actually operates. Just put the right Zeners in, guys, but I'm not going to bother to change that right now. It's not an issue. Let's see if we can test some MOSFETs. As this was already plugged into the P-type socket, I have a P-type MOSFET here. So this one, IFPK9240. I'm going to use a little tub with water in, about half full that actually is, it's not full, to keep the thing cool because I'm going to pass 10 amps through it. On the deluxe version, I think we will try to add the option to pulse the power, but this is the basic and yet very effective version I found. These clips are just ideal for attaching the multimeter. So these are attached across the drain and source directly, so I don't have to worry about resistance of the leads. And also, there's no current passing into the multimeter basically, so the resistance of these leads will have no effect. This is basically like a Kelvin probe. We go to volts. Okay, so let's measure the gate threshold voltage. So we do this by turning the power supply up until the LED comes on. Just there. I can see better than the camera can probably, so just there. So this is saying 7.4, so we divide that by 2, which is 3.7. okay, so for our P channel MOSFET, the gate threshold voltage is 3.7 volts. Now we're going to measure RDS on, and I'm going to measure this initially at 1 amp. I have the switch set to 1 amp. Okay, I'm going to set my bench power supply also to 1 amp, so I'll just turn this down somewhat, give it some voltage. I've shorted the leads together, you probably noticed there, to set the current. Okay, 1 amp. Turn the voltage down again. We'll connect the tester, and now I'm just going to turn the voltage up to maximum. It won't go up to the maximum, it will stop when it reaches 1 amp, which is about 23.5 volts roughly. And we'll read on here the RDS on. So 23.8, and it's 0.32, okay? Now, because we're passing 1 amp, volts equals ohms. So the RDS on is 0.32 ohms at 1 amp. Okay, so we know what the RDS is at 1 amp. Now let's measure it at 10 amps because that's probably what the datasheet specifies. So let's see what we get. We get about, well, it's climbing up rapidly because this thing is warming up. Yeah, even in the water. I'll just try again, see if I can get a more rapid reading. So I'm going to just effectively just plug the lead in here and see what we get. About 5.2 it started at. .4, let's say. So the RDS on at 10 amps is, well, let's call it 0.6. I mean, it was somewhere near that. Okay, so 0.6. Let's have a look at the data sheet for this MOSFET and see what the RDS on should be. Okay, and this is telling us the RDS on is 0.5. Now, if you look at the data sheet, it's telling us in this case that the RDS on should be measured at 7.2 amps. I'm actually measuring it at 10 amps. I'm actually over that spec. I will try again in a moment at 7.2 amps. And the VGS on threshold between 2 and 4. Okay. So this is within spec. And I'm going to try and measure this again at 7.2 amps. So what I need to do once more is just short my leads together. So what I'm going to do now is set this to 7.2 amps, which is what the data sheet is telling me. Okay, and we're going to try again. So we'll put the tester back on. We can watch the multimeter. So this will limit at 7.2 automatically. Okay, and we have 3.1. Did you see that there? Just go again. 3.1, 3.2. So about 0.32. So it's about the same as this. So it's below the 0.5. So you can see that we need to measure these MOSFETs as close as we can to the specification in the datasheet for that reading. Okay, so that is a good MOSFET. Let's try an N-type. Okay, and this MOSFET is an IFP240. So once again, we'll put it in the cooler. This time, let's check the data sheet first. And we can see this has a lower RDS on. This is the maximum, by the way. If you're getting less than this, it's fine. Okay, let's look at the measurement parameters for this one. So this is being measured at 12 amps with 10 volts on the gate. I can't get to 12, I can only get to 10. And you can see the maximum is 0.18. Okay. The gate threshold voltage again is between 2 and 4. So let's measure that first. So I'll leave this set to 10 amps. Let's just see at what point it switches on. About there. So 2.9, yeah. Half of that, yeah, about there. About 2.7, 2.8. So about 1.4 is the threshold voltage I'm seeing, which is below the spec, which makes me think this is possibly a fake MOSFET. Let's try to read the RDS on. So I've set this back up to 10 amps again. We can read on here. What do we have? 0.84. Okay. 0.84. And you notice it doesn't keep ramping up like the other one did. It will gradually climb up as it warms up. Yeah. 0.84. So dividing that by 10, 0.08. And about 1.3, 1.4 gate threshold voltage. So the RDS on is less. The gate threshold voltage is also less. I'm a little bit suspicious of this MOSFET. It's possibly a fake. But if it is a fake, it actually has a lower RDS on than you would expect, or at least as good as the original one. So this could be kind of a good fake, but I am a little bit suspicious of that. Okay. And that is the fake MOSFET tester in action with both N-type and P-type MOSFETs. Worked very well. I'm going to upload this as a shared project, so by the time you see this video it will be available for you on PCBway to order. You'll find the link in the video description, and it's a fairly inexpensive and simple device. If you're buying MOSFETs, especially from sources you're not totally sure of, this really is, I think, an essential piece of equipment, to be honest. So that is the basic version, and next let's have a look at the deluxe version and see what we can do with that one. Hope you enjoyed that, guys. Let me know if you're going to order one of these. Let me know how you get on with it, and I look forward to seeing you all soon again on Learn Electronics Repair. Ciao for now, guys.